No, I got a U.
Go again.
I got it.
Cara definitely likes to play. Really anything. Anything from outdoors, cards, puzzles. She definitely likes to be occupied with that.
Okay, you can go ahead and go around.
Okay. Hello, Goldie. Hello.
Cara is just so accepting of everyone. She bonds easily, and she loves easily, which is amazing considering her history. And she's very easy to love.
Cara had very serious scoliosis. If you looked at the photos of Cara and you saw what her back looked like, you knew what those bones had to look like in her spine. And you could just hardly imagine. Her diagnosis in China was that there's not much we can do about it. She's gonna die. She's gonna die from internal organ failure because of pressures on the internal organs from her upper body. And yet you then compare that, what seems pretty hopeless, with this smiling face, this face of Cara. And you say to yourself, we got to do something. We can't just do nothing.
The biggest reason children are abandoned in China today is medical care.
98% of the children in the orphanage that I was in were disabled. 98%. And they were not adopted because of that. I knew that for $500 you place a child in foster care for 1 year, and the impact of that was huge.
In Cara's case, there was the first step of what's the problem? Can we help in China? No. Will we ever be able to find somebody to fund that? Should we just give up, or should we give it a try and put the funding proposal in the surgeries book? And I remember putting that one in there thinking, well, why am I putting this one in? But lo and behold, she got funded. The Shaws came and wrote a check right there.
I remember just knowing that this must be a really spirited little girl who's still really fighting for her life at 14, and that she just really needs somebody to, to give her some slack and to really help her. There was some just real connection.
To us, it was somebody, the opportunity to help somebody who we thought quite possibly not going to get the help she needed.
At every moment, there are kids moving from orphanage to children's home to surgery to back to children's home and moving around to foster care. I mean, there's an orchestrated system of kids constantly on the move.
The goal with the China Care clubs and the goal with the volunteer program is simultaneously to have an impact on the kids in China and to have an impact on the kids in the U.S. Sort of replicating the experience that I had at 16 years old of realizing that, wow, I can make a difference. The Foster Sponsor Program matches a sponsor in the U.S. with a child in foster care in China. We have people who donate money to sponsor an individual child. They then get quarterly updates so that they can see how that child is progressing.
Nice.
With Cara, there were a lot of programs that came into play because we had many people that helped. There was a volunteer that was so taken with Cara because he just felt like he had to help her. She had such a zest for life.
One. Oh, good one.
And so I got this email saying all of the money raised by him was to go toward the surgery that we were trying to raise money for. We had a foster sponsor who couldn't get her out of his mind, and so he just felt so compelled to want to help her. He actually sent in the money for all of her travel costs so that we could get her here.
We first heard about Cara when our friends came back from China with their third adopted child. And when they got there, they didn't realize that these foster parents had another child with them as well, which was Cara. And they told us that she had severe scoliosis, and that if she wasn't adopted by the time she was 14, that she would be forced to go to an adult institution for the rest of her life.
And I don't know how much longer it was after. I don't know if it was a week or 2 weeks. And Diane, maybe a month, and Diane comes to me and she says, I think we should adopt that little girl that was sitting at the table.
For us to give the money was one thing, but also because we did, then it sort of started a chain of events where the doctor then did the surgery, I believe pro bono, and all of her physical therapy and other treatments were also then, a lot of people then didn't charge for that too. So what was really nice is that the money that they didn't use for Cara's surgery is now going towards other kids. And I love that. I love getting the reports back and seeing how they're doing and all of that. I mean, it's just really fun, and it feels great. It was her age, definitely, and the severity of her scoliosis, and just knowing that if she did not have the surgery, she would not have a full life, that she would die very young, and that I had a teenage daughter, and I just couldn't imagine anyone not helping her.
I mean, she wasn't our daughter at the time, but they saved her life. I mean, it was so close being able to adopt her, and if the adoption hadn't gone through, we were literally a day away from the deadline. And if everything hadn't fallen into place, she would have died without their help.